Welcome to Engineering Python. This is a Python programming course for engineers. In this video, I will talk about exception handling. There are many ways that a program can go wrong and crash. Exception handling is a decision structure that catches and deals with these runtime errors. This is the syntax of exception handling. Python tries a statement block. If there is no error, none of the handling blocks will be executed. If a runtime error occurs, it looks for a matching error type in order. If one match is found, the corresponding handling block will be executed. If no match, handling block N under the last exception will be executed. The statement blocks and the handling blocks are all indented. There is a colon following the try statement and each of the except statement. Let's see some examples. We know that the quadratic equation a times x squared plus b times x plus c equals 0 has two roots. They can be calculated using this formula. One root will take the plus sign and the other will take the minus sign. Now let's write a function to calculate the roots using this formula. The quadratic equation coefficients are inputted by the user. We will use the square root function in the math library to calculate this part. So let's first import the math library. This function is defined as quadratic 1. We ask the user to enter the comma-separated values for a, b, and c and convert them from strings to numbers. We introduce a temporary variable to store the square root of this b squared minus 4 times a times c. The first root can be written like this. It takes the plus sign. The second root takes the minus sign. Finally, we print out these two roots. Note that the use of eval function is probably unsafe. I already talked about it in a previous video named Inputs, Outputs, Assignments. A safer way is to ask the user to input a, b, and c individually, and we convert each to a number using the float function. However, we just use this example to illustrate what can go wrong when the quadratic 1 function is executed. Let's call the quadratic 1 function. Enter the comma-separated values for a, b, and c. I enter 1, 3, 2. The roots are -1, -2. This is a normal case. There's no error. Now I'll show you how we can break this program. Call the function again. This time I enter 1, 2, 3. When we run this call, it shows me that there's an error. The reason is that in line 4, when we try to calculate the square root, we will find that this whole parameter is negative if we calculate it using the numbers we just entered. B is 2, A is 1, and C is 3. So it is 4 minus 12, which is -8. The square root function in the math library cannot deal with a negative value. That is why we see this value error, math domain error. Call this function again. This time I only type in 1, 2. It shows me that something went wrong when this line is executed. It's value error, not enough values to unpack. Expected 3, got only 2. Call this function again. This time I enter 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a value error, too many values to unpack. Expected 3, got 4. Call the function again. This time I enter 1, 2, n. This is a name error. Name n is not defined. Call the function again. Type in 1, 2, 3, but 3 is a string. It shows me that line 4 is wrong, because we have to calculate 4 times number 1 times a string 3, which is not allowed. The error is type error, unsupported operand types for integer and string. Call this function one last time. Type in 1 space 2 space 3. We need comma-separated numbers. What we got were space-separated numbers instead. This is the syntax error. Below, I'll show you a more robust version of the function. We changed the name to quadratic2 to differentiate it from the version without exception handling. This function is much longer than the previous function, because we want to deal with all the errors I just mentioned. The statement block from line 4 to line 8 is exactly the same as the previous function. The difference is that it is indented to be the body of this try statement. The try statement will capture the error when it happens. Each of the following 5 except statements will capture which type of error it is and then deal with the error. In this simple example, we just print out the message so the user knows what went wrong, and the program will end normally. That means no crash landing. Note that the value error is further divided into mass domain error and other value errors. If the runtime error is not a value error, name error, type error, or syntax error, we just show a message, something went wrong, but I don't know what it was. Now I'll call the quadratic2 function and try different inputs. 1, 3, 2, this is normal, no error. 1, 2, 3, this is the value error, no real roots. 1, 2, value error, you didn't give me the right number of inputs. Same error for 1, 2, 3, 4, still not the right number of inputs. 1, 2, n, this is a name error. Variable n is not defined. 1, 2, string 3, type error, the inputs were not all numbers. One of them is a string. 1, space 2, space 3, this isn't valid syntax. None of these inputs crashes the program. Okay, that was a brief introduction to exception handling. The course materials are available on YouTube and GitHub. You can watch the course videos in sequence. If you like this video, please subscribe and share. I'm Wang. Thanks for watching.